Minnesota squad back with another video. I seen the titles going down. Make sure you hit the like button, hit that subscribe button for me, please. Y'all see it right here. So this is Fox News segment on Ilhan Omar. As y'all know, there are a lot of people that are really, I definitely say, tired, and irritated, the fact of what's going on in Minnesota. I feel like this was something that was definitely, I feel like this is something that was, I knew for a fact was going to get, pretty big. I didn't know it was going to get as big as it is now. Seeing, and I know that it's we looking at California, and California is definitely horrible. But seeing the fact, Tim Walz, Ilhan Omar, it is definitely horrible. Check it out right here, y'all. Fox News.
A group of Somali Americans or refugees, whatever they were at that point in time, figured out how to game the system, and they figured out that fraud paid, corruption paid, crime paid, because they weren't held accountable. And so they kept doing it until ultimately the house of cards fell down.
No, you couldn't be more right, Laura. And frankly, Ilhan Omar found the blueprint pretty early. She's clearly been in this for personal gain. She's made tens of millions of dollars since she's entered Congress. And what do you know? We find that her friends are getting rich in the process too. But like I said, this is intentional. It's by design. Ilhan Omar was the individual in Congress who introduced this legislation that ultimately led to Feeding Our Future being able to defraud $250 million. And you gotta laugh because just the other day, she's complaining, well, it's because we don't have guardrails in place. And that's why these third parties were able to go steal from taxpayers. Well, Ilhan, you were in charge of setting up the guardrails.
Not even that, when it comes down to it. It says here, radical left is like Omar rigged system, gutted oversight, and funneled hundreds of millions in taxpayer cash to fried rings. And it's a lot of things. We've been over. There's multiple, restaurants allegedly. When you have an daycare business, healthcare business. There's a lot of things. That has been going down, within this, and it's definitely crazy. Definitely tell you that. One thing about it, this is, Ilhan Omar again, calling out, America, saying that it's turned into one of the worst countries on earth. One thing about this woman that I've actually realized, the simple fact that she complains, about America a lot. Not only does, she complain, but, her constituents, they also, complain. It's so many people that's in Somalia, literally Somalia. I said it right. That's in Minnesota, and I should say, Somalia, because that's honestly what they're trying to turn it into, and we're constantly seeing
to be coming out of our country. I mean, I grew up in a dictatorship. And I don't even remember ever witnessing anything like that. To have a democracy, a beacon of hope for the world to now be turned into one of the worst countries where the military are in our streets without any regard for people's constitutional rights, while our president spending millions of dollars propping himself up like a failed dictator with a military parade. It is really shocking, and it should be a wake-up call for all Americans to say this is not the country we were born in. This is not the country we believe in. This is not the country our founding fathers imagined, and this is not the country.
One thing about it, I get that I hear, coming out of this woman's mouth a lot, is the simple fact that she's making it seem like she's just all for America. And if I'm not mistaken, again, she's not even from here. So I'm just confused on a lot. Brings me to my next thing that I want to talk about. It says here, this is from Nick Sorter, Happy New Year from the Quality Leering Center. Although I don't think their new Lear is going to be particularly happy. Says I guess he hurts, it hurt the owner's feelings, and Minneapolis police, obviously were on their way, and one thing about it, like I've said multiple times, that I truly love the simple fact that there are more and more people that are going and exposing, what's going on right now in Minnesota. Check it out.
What's up? I'm just here to wish everybody a happy new year from the Quality Leering Center here tonight. You want to say anything to everybody?
Trespassing, sir.
Huh?
You have no
You're
right to
trespassing in my country.
Live.
Trespassing in my country.
Live. Live.
Live.
What do you mean live? I'm living well.
Go the house. Yeah.
I'm on the sidewalk. What are you talking about?
You're on our balcony.
Okay. What time do you close?
None of your business.
None of my business. Okay. All right. Well, happy New Year anyway.
You too. Thank you.
Take care. Enjoy. Probably won't be a great one for you, though. I'll be honest with you.
First name Day, IDRAHIM. Last name Ali, KLI. 612.
It's a rental, bro. But I mean, that's fine. If it makes you feel better.
That's a shame. Well, maybe if they weren't doing, so bad, you wouldn't have individuals sitting there and try to expose everything that you got going on, and taking allegedly taking taxpayers' money. Says Black man in Minnesota asks about enrollment at the Quality Leering Center. They might as well they should have just kept it as Leering Center. I'm not even gonna lie, because I feel like they're already in for it. Like, they might as well just keep it like that. He's told to come back during regular business hours. Thing is, he's there at 3:48 p.m. during the day. Check it out.
Hold on, man. What you said? What?
You can take a picture from the sidewalk. That's not
This private property?
Yeah, that's not trespassing.
Hey, I'm just trying to enroll my kid.
Just letting you know.
Can I enroll my kid? His name's Abdi.
You can bug. The sidewalk.
Procedure for that. It's not like
A procedure? Can I get papers?
come back on.
He said it's a procedure for that. It's not like you can come. Hold on, wait. What did he say? Let me go back a little bit.
For that. It's not like
A procedure? Can I get papers?
You do come in when you have a daycare. I don't know how everybody else's daycares work, but when it's a daycare, you can either go online or you can go inside of the school. People do that all the time. When it comes to schools, even a high school, middle school, you go inside the school and talk to. That's how I know. It's just they don't know. They're just there.
come back on.
Taking money.
Come back to us when we're open on regular hours and we'll work with you guys.
It's 3:48 on a Tuesday. This is now business hours.
Yeah, it's business hours.
I'm telling y'all, definitely a shame. Definitely a shame. All the corruption going on. Definitely sad. Says News Nation discovered a building in Minnesota with 60 Somali healthcare companies with signs on the door but nothing inside. I'm telling y'all, it gets worse each and every day.
This building right behind me has 22 different home and community-based healthcare companies registered in the building. It's only 4 floors. I walked in there yesterday trying to find a number of them. Many of them appear to be just window fronts, door fronts, with nobody behind. So same story, different location. We're here in St. Paul at this building, which looks like a warehouse or a dilapidated old building. Inside this building, there are 60 registered home and community healthcare organizations inside this one building. We're here in Northeast Minneapolis, and we're at a building that I believe is on the radar of authorities. They have questions about it. A lot of the businesses in here are home healthcare businesses. Of the total businesses, there's 37. 17 of them are home healthcare businesses. There's just layer upon layer upon layer of fraud throughout this city, Jessica. As for whether Governor Walz is going to testify before the Oversight Committee, that remains to be seen. We asked him at his office if he was going to testify, and we have yet to hear back.
Of course. One thing about it, they're going to continue to lie, continue not to take accountability, and continue to blame Trump, because that's all they're doing. Not only that, just found it here. It's breaking. Minnesota Somali assisted living home criminally indicted for fraud is still receiving millions of taxpayer dollars. I'm telling y'all, this stuff is sickening, bro.
But
I'm not even lying.
This assisted living facility puts
crazy.
this all in perspective. It's owned by a man indicted for laundering $1 million in the Feeding Our Future scam. He's Gandhi Mohammed, now Gandhi Abdi Kadai, and his LLC owns the homes. His wife runs the assisted living facilities, and the state is continuing to pay as he awaits his trial. Okay. We went to each of them. We're curious because the man who owns this building was indicted in the Feeding Our Future scandal. Did you know that?
No.
Don't know that?
No. You think what?
Do you know the Feeding Our Future scandal? The scam that was, there's all these indictments related to false, billing on feeding children.
No, that's not true.
That it's not true?
It's not true. The way I know that, no.
These assisted living facilities received over $2.3 million in state money last year alone. A Minnesota Reformer article says he has been paid a whopping $49 million since 2016. How is it possible that this person who's been indicted in Feeding Our Future also is still collecting checks from the state, running these assisted living centers with his wife?
I honestly have no idea. It seems like the most basic due diligence would have been to run a check of all the people indicted in Feeding Our Future and then make sure they're not getting paid from other state programs. And at least in this case, and I've heard perhaps in others, they didn't do that.
State Representative Kristen Robbins is the chair of the House Fraud and Oversight Committee here.
So this person owns assisted living facilities, and his wife runs the service provider part of it. So he owns the property. One of the properties was purchased with the same shell company he used to money launder in Feeding Our Future. And now that same shell company has been used to buy a new assisted living facility property. It's unconscionable that they haven't done the most basic due diligence to cross-check that Feeding Our Future defendants aren't getting additional state money.
Now, we reached out to this man and his wife and yet to hear back. We also reached out to the Department of Human Services here, and they gave us a statement. In part, it basically says, ultimately, they can't cut funding from this guy because he is simply a landlord, essentially because his wife runs the services for these assisted living.
Listen, they can say whatever they want. They can say whatever they want. One thing about it is that all of this will be, it will be a light shed on it. It will be a big light shed on it. However you put it, that's truly what it's going to be. Because of how much fraud there is going on in Minnesota right now. I'm telling y'all. It says right here, this young black man calls to send every Somali back to where they came from. Check it out.
All these Somalians do, like, bro, now there's a whole different YouTube video of them going around in Cleveland, Ohio, uncovering fraud. And it's not the first time that I've heard about Cleveland, Ohio and the Somalians over there and how dangerous they be getting. Because I remember there was like a YouTuber that went to, like, them YouTubers that be going to like people's hoods and shit like that. And I remember they did one for the Somalians, and I was like, what the fuck, Somalian gang? That's crazy. Bro, but what did you expect from people who come from piracy, bro? That's crazy. But it's just like, now, at this point, anywhere that there's Somalians, like, I don't know, I automatically just get a little ick now, bro. Because now, I want to know if the Somalians in my state is doing the same shit. Like,
and that's the thing about it. That's truly the thing about it. When it comes down to it, is you always think about that, and it's one of those things. Like, I don't ever want nobody to think just because I see an individual, but I truly feel as if this is definitely something that is putting a really, really horrible name, out. Is what the Somalians are doing right now. And not only just in Minnesota, everywhere. This guy right here, he's in Cleveland, Ohio, and it's happening there. I'm telling y'all, it's definitely bad. Says here, the Minneapolis Somali daycare fraud scandal is genuinely something else. Two of the activists protesting against the exposure went off script, and both accidentally revealed that there is fraud going on.
There are wait lists for these programs that are years long. There is fraud. The fraud that is occurring is not at the hands of families. We need to be looking at who's in power, who's making decisions, who's guarding the purse strings of our tax dollars, my tax dollars too, and making sure that children have places to go that are safe for them to learn, parents can go to work, and providers can keep their doors open.
At this point, I think they're literally just finding people to say stuff because this sounds so ridiculous.
If childcare is cut, I'm unable to work or go to school. I understand fraud is bad.
I understand fraud is bad. It's funny though. I'm not even gonna lie. It's definitely funny just the things that they're doing and how they're doing them. Like this stuff doesn't make sense. I'm telling y'all. Check it out here.
I don't dislike Somali immigrants because they're black people. I dislike them because they walked into my house, were given shelter and resources, and then stole from me. That's the part that's not clocking. See, you let Democrats condition you so deeply with lies how low their opinion of your intelligence is. They know reasoning and keep
I'm skipping through because it's playing music, y'all. I don't want to get copyrighted at all.
capitalizing on it. Because this isn't about people being black. This is big institutions that were supposed to house and care for children, child care funds, American taxpayer money you worked for, and the very man you wanted to have be the vice president allowed this to happen and is now defending it. How does that not infuriate you?
I'm telling y'all, one thing about it is that people need to pay attention. People definitely need to pay attention. Elon Musk, commented down here and said exactly. People need to, pay attention. When it comes down to a lot that's going on and actually realize, and stop always making it seem like, it's all about race. This has nothing to do with race whatsoever. It's right and wrong, and obviously they're wrong, for the things that they're doing and the things that they're causing. Hands down. That's truly how I feel about it. Says President Trump is livid about not just Minnesota Somali fraud, but the fraud is being is worse, in California and New York. And I can name off, just like I said, Ohio, what's going on in Cleveland, and other places, in Ohio, what's going on in Chicago. I'm telling you, a lot of places.
Trump
Check it out.
hosting his annual New Year's Eve party at Mar-a-Lago last night, where he talked to the people participating, the partygoers, saying he thinks the fraud could be double what Garrett just reported, up to $18 billion, and he thinks there could be fraud nationwide and wants that investigated.
Can you imagine? They stole $18 billion. That's just what we're learning about. That's peanuts. In California is worse, Illinois is worse, and sadly New York is worse. A lot of other places. So we're going to get to the bottom of all of it. It was a giant scam. Other than that, we're going to have a great New Year.
Other than that, we're going to have a great New Year.
So some optimism there at the end from President Trump. And as we heard last year from Trump's top economic advisor, Kevin Hassett, the president wants to use his remaining time at Mar-a-Lago to assemble his team to discuss this year's domestic agenda, the America First agenda.
Telling y'all, one thing about it is that I do see, I want them to actually, and I've said this plenty of times, and I know that y'all agree, I want them to actually do something about it. Like I said many, many times, I don't want this to be swept up in the rug. I want them to do something about this situation. Do something about this situation. We need to see prison time. We need to see deportations. We need to see things done. Make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Stay tuned for the next video dropping tonight. Catch y'all next one.